Hey guys, now I have just finished reading Batgirl, and not even quite sure what I'm going to say about it. Just continuing this experiment of reviewing immediately after reading. I enjoyed this issue a lot. It was really creepy and scary. Gail Simone was doing the ragdoll very, very well. Very, very scary. I do have to say, at the end of the comic, she undid some of the horror. And I'm not sure what I feel about that. I don't want to be too much of a spoiler on that, but I'd love to discuss it with someone at some point who's read this. I find it interesting because Gail Simone does horror so well, but what's also mixed in here is kind of almost light might not be exactly the word because all kinds of bad things happen in Barbara Gordon's life, but there's a bit of a pop light soap opera feel to it. Oh, my boyfriend's suing my father and things like that. And it works with but it's an unusual contrast with the sort of dark horror feeling that the other half of the book has. And I really like that dark horror feeling. I really liked the issues with the vampire hunters in it before, and I really like this with Ragdoll. I hope this isn't just a one-off of Ragdoll. I have a feeling it is for now, but it would be nice to bring it back into the game. I'm not sure what they're going to do next. So anyway, I enjoyed this one. I recently did a video where I talked about panels and looked at kind of the older comics and their more classic paneling, and then the newer comics, which partially because of having the bleed where the panels can go the edge of the page, and just kind of advances in the comic book art form, do all kinds of crazy fancy layouts. This artist, a lot of the time, does a pretty traditional layout, and because I had that on my mind, I was actually enjoying his traditional layout, and I felt like it worked really well, especially in the intense action scenes. I was just focused on the action, and I wasn't thinking about the art at all. It was just letting me focus on the action. I'm not at all calling for a return to old-fashioned, every comic book is just done with kind of plain vanilla, oops, that's not even part of it, that's the Superman, plain vanilla panels set in a grid. But still, it's an effective form. It's an effective form, and it works really well here. I haven't been following Batgirl all along. Is her roommate also a lesbian? I know her roommate is a transsexual. What percentage of transsexuals are lesbians, I wonder? That's just a whole different thing. But, yeah. I don't know any transsexuals personally that I know of. I read a autobiography of a transsexual, and she remained with her wife, at least as far as I remember. So I guess that made her kind of a lesbian. So anyway, I have a feeling that Batgirl's never really going to explore the fact that the roommate's a transsexual, really. At least probably not on Gail Simone's watch. I could be wrong. But I haven't seen any sign of that yet, beyond the revelation that she is one. And they certainly don't draw her any differently than they would any woman. And that might be debatable, whether you can tell who's a transsexual and who isn't. Usually, I think if you know they're transsexual, or if you're looking for transsexuals, you might be able to spot them. Just because of the different physical anatomy things about males and females, beyond the obvious things like breasts and long hair. Anyhow, I didn't plan to go there at all. I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye-bye.